Hey all, I'm KG and this is Claude, our very own Captain of the Guard, occasional voice of reason, and good old Hecklebear.
Hey there, I just tell it how it is. So, what's today's upload?
Well, Harry and his wife have found themselves at the centre of another initiative that has divided the public. So, it's another Crown controversy upload.
Oh boy, now what's gone on? It's only been a matter of days since the last controversy.
Well, 3 years after her failed birthday initiative, 40 by 40, Meghan Markle has pulled in her husband,
Which I expect is for a resemblance of credibility.
to launch a new initiative, this time to provide an online support hub for parents of children who have sadly taken their own lives due to, in some part, their experiences on social media or the internet at large. During a segment on America's CBS, the couple joined parents who have experienced this tragedy within their own families to launch their new hub, the Parents Network.
Would an online hub be the best place for such a community, if it's the internet that has played some part in what has happened to their children?
Well, that's one of the valid criticisms that has been made. The hub itself provides some, so far limited, resources and internet links for families, as well as access to people matched to your personal experience. I assume that means you're given a buddy of sorts to talk to.
So similar to those networks already in existence?
Yes, they are simply offering their version of the support groups already out there, most likely based on their interest in putting controls on social media use, which is focused on the ability to find and remove users who make comments about them and others on the platforms.
Some of the comments online do constitute bullying and incite hate. So yes, certain controls continue to be needed. But isn't that what companies are constantly tightening up on? It's not a magic wand approach, but progress is constantly being made.
They are. What content can be shared on social media platforms or through internet providers, as well as devices, offer parental controls and the ability to exclude content you don't want either yourself or your children to see. Children are also protected in schools from harm by forensic software that stops them searching certain words or accessing inappropriate content.
So what are they saying here? They don't trust the parents to be responsible?
It appears that way. Here, Harry addresses it directly.
I mean, we always talk about, in the olden days, if your kids were under your roof, you knew what they were up to. At least they were safe, right? And now they can be in the next door room on a tablet or on a phone and can be going down these rabbit holes. And before you know it, within 24 hours, they could be taking their life.
The olden days? Oh, that's funny, Haz. I appreciate he's middle-aged now, but the olden days? Does he think all parents ignore their own life experience as users of modern technology? Does he assume they still believe it's the 1960s and they don't know the risks of this strange new thing called the internet?
I think so. I have to admit, I found that quite bizarre. I mean, if we were in the 90s and the internet was just taking off with the general population, then maybe. But we're a long way from there. I can't even remember a time when I couldn't put in place parental controls, even back in the mid-90s.
Well, I suppose there are still children who use encrypted communications on their smartphones, who may fly under the radar of their parents, hence the unfortunate parents who seek these support groups.
Yes, and there'll always be a need for online protections for children. But the criticism is coming on whether Harry and his wife are using the most extreme outcome of social media and internet use by children, which isn't the majority outcome, as a vehicle to push further with the work they carried out with the Aspen Institute and others.
Ah, soon it won't be just children they're protecting, but all us feeble-minded adults too.
Now you're getting it, Claude. In my opinion, many, like Harry and his wife, start with the children, then widen their scope to include the grown-ups.
You can see why people would be concerned, especially since most of the advocates for internet censorship use children central to their argument.
They do. It's used as a persuasive technique. It's an appeal to the emotions of the viewers because they know people would be hard-pressed to disagree with keeping children safe from harm. Then they also aim to instill fear, another technique. Fear that your child may do the same, so join their network. Watch Harry again here.
And now they can be in the next door room on a tablet or on a phone and can be going down these rabbit holes. And before you know it, within 24 hours, they could be taking their life.
That's a little bit sick in itself, in my opinion. There are already numerous laws in place to protect against this, but these people speak as if there are none.
Indeed, Claude, indeed. So the idea of the hub in itself is not really controversial, and I'm sure there are many parents who seek support in the similar ones available.
So what's the issue then?
It's simply because they've put their names to it when Meghan has been accused of bullying her staff, as well as their attacks on the royal family, and the fact that they don't disown the Sussex squad, especially after the harm they've caused to others online.
Well, that's a really big issue. How can they plausibly lend support for this or even be seen as credible?
Well, that's when the next persuasive device was used by the couple, and most likely their PR team.
Which was?
The technique of attack.
Attack? As in physically attack?
No, but equally as destructive in my opinion. Meghan led up to the attack by using another technique, which is the anecdote, and with a prompt from the interviewer, recounted her personal experience from the time that she shared the same ideation that the children of the Parents Network felt.
To give credibility to their involvement and viewpoint on this matter?
Yes, they were most likely also heading off the critics, who would be asking, why have they jumped onto this cause? This technique is used to give a human angle to the issue. As most people watching won't have experienced what the parents of this network have gone through, there will be more out there who have had personal experience of depression or the same thoughts that Harry's wife had before.
So making it feel real to more viewers?
Yes, but also piquing the interest of the world's media and the public, because this takes everyone right back to the Oprah interview where she first revealed that she had these feelings.
And how does she use the attack technique in this part of the interview?
Well, having brought the memory back to the forefront of people's minds, she briefly explains how it could be relatable, the human angle we've just discussed.
I just didn't want to be alive anymore.
You had an experience that connects you to these families. The connection that you have with people is they know you had suffered too, personally.
Now, her use of the attack technique next isn't just being done to regard her or their viewpoints sympathetically, but also in direct retaliation to those who didn't believe her when she disclosed it during the Oprah Winfrey interview. Here's Morgan being one of many.
If people want to believe Meghan Markle, that's entirely their right. I don't believe almost anything that comes out of her mouth.
Her carefully worded attack was scripted to position the viewers to think badly of anyone who hadn't believed her at the time, and therefore to dismiss their ideas and viewpoint entirely.
I believe part of our healing journey, certainly part of mine, is being able to be really open about it.
She has previously claimed that she wasn't able to talk about it or get help because of how it would make the royal family look, therefore insinuating that because she wasn't able to be open about it at the time, it hindered her healing journey.
And I haven't really scraped the surface on my experience, but I do think that I would never want someone else to feel that way. And I would never want someone else to be making those sort of plans, and I would never want someone else to not be believed. So if me voicing what I have overcome will save someone or asks or encourage someone in their life to really genuinely check in on them and not assume that the appearance is good so everything's okay.
Which is why I believe she says she'll take a hit for that. Sharing a personal experience to help somebody else shouldn't be seen as a hit, yet it is in this circumstance. And I believe it's because she's actually addressing the earlier criticism, rather than primarily using it to lend her support to the initiative.
So this wasn't just about the Parents Network? This was a dig at both the royal family and her critics?
In my opinion, it was, and this viewpoint has been shared by many, including most major media organisations, by Meghan focusing more on her perceived personal slights during her experience, and by adding such unnecessary comments such as,
I haven't really scraped the surface on my experience.
She immediately drew the attention away from the network itself and the parents involved, something Talk TV's host Kevin O'Sullivan's guest, Kinsey Schofield, raised on his show.
The reporter knows if she asks a question like that, the interview is going to become about Meghan. Meghan is savvy enough to know that now the line that everybody's going to use is that she's only scraped the surface, which sounds like a veiled threat to the royal family about what she could say going forward.
And that's exactly what happened. While a few news outlets briefly touched on the launch of the Parents Network, the majority either focused on the dynamics between the couple or the comments Meghan made about the negative press, what she saw as online bullying, and the negative feelings she had about her life while in the royal family. It was also pointed out that the couple were not naive and would have known that this would have been the outcome. Unfortunately, this has meant that little coverage has actually been given to the parents' network, their stories, or the work they aim to do. And this seems to be a consistent side effect of any work the couple have done over the last few years.
The Markle effect?
Yes, it's just a shame that the Markle effect is rarely ever positive. As pointed out in the interview, this organisation is extremely small, with just a handful of parents, so surely publicity for them would have been far more important.
Well, it looks like the couple didn't see it that way.
No, but it does get me thinking, why did they launch this initiative on such a scale? With just 4 or 5 families. If they suddenly got inundated with about, 200 other families going through the same, then how can they possibly support them?
You know, that's a fair point. There's no way that infrastructure can deal with that in its current form. Are they going to be asked to just hold that grief for a month or two?
Either that or the parents currently involved in the network are going to be placed under an immense burden. Then again, I expect they'll just be referred to the PDFs on the site.
It looks like they either wanted to just launch something, so they appeared to be busy, especially while the royal family are on their summer break. Or there's something else going on and they needed to act quickly. It's hard to tell with the Sussexes. I find it easier to try not to understand their strange goings-on, if I'm being honest.
A sentiment shared by many, I believe. Either way, the Parents Network is now up and running and can be accessed via their Archwell website. Please be aware, though, that they want you to share your personal stories and then they become the property of the company. No doubt to be used for their personal gain moving forward.
And hopefully something good will come of it, at least for those parents in need who find themselves accessing the network's support. You know, as opposed to the complete flop of her last birthday initiative.
Yes, we'll all just have to wait and see. But if you want to know why I think they're doing it right now, at this time and with these parents, look out for our next upload.
Ooh, I'm intrigued. Make sure you all tune in and also let us know what you think about this new initiative in the comments below.
And it goes without saying that our deepest sympathies are with any families who have been touched by this. And we have included some additional sites for any parents who are looking for support. Remember, our upload is to critique the widely reported hypocrisy of the couple and provide our opinions on it, not to critique the current support available to families with children with mental health difficulties.
Folks, that's it for today. So if you could do all the good stuff, click those like and subscribe buttons and look out for our next upload.
We'll be back next week with more reactions to the royal news stories and our opinions on them.
Thanks for watching and see you again soon. King's Guard, at ease. Fall out.